Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name's Lee, aka the Privy Sage. Today we're discussing Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed. I don't know if you're familiar with the whole drama that's been going on about this game. Ever since the trailer was first released, there's been some drama about Yasuke, or however the fuck you pronounce his name. Honestly, I don't really give a damn. But there's been drama going on about this character and how accurate they are portraying this character. Now, in the past, Assassin's Creed would have fictional characters as the protagonist or people you would actually play as, and they would have historical figures that happen to live in the real world, be NPC characters, people you would actually interact with or have like quests through. But they decided to switch that up this time. They decided to make the historical character one of your main protagonists that you play as. Now, some people have argued that they did this for specific reasons because, he's black, DEI, they wanted to put the black protagonist in there, and it upset a lot of people. They purposely chose the needle in a haystack, I guess you could say, to have as their main character, or one of their two main characters, in a game that was supposed to be it's in Japan, so you would think the game itself would have Japanese people as the protagonists, but no, you have a black guy running around killing a bunch of Japanese people. They're bowing to him in the streets. It seemed like, to me, it doesn't give you the best look, especially given the whole Stop Asian Hate campaign here in the West, and that kind of disappeared when they realized who all was actually perpetrating the hate against Asians here in the West. Hey buddy, how are you? Sorry, my cat decided to be in the video, I guess. So some people claim that the second character, she's actually Japanese. They claim that she's actually potentially DEI as well. I don't know how accurate that is, but some people are making that claim. I don't know during the time frame that this game is supposed to be taking place if you will actually find a female in that role during that time. Like I said, the time period, a lot of times women didn't necessarily have some of these same roles that people would like to see them have today. Now, normally I wouldn't care because, it is a game. They will take some liberties with it. Assassin's Creed has not always been historically accurate. They just use it enough to add some gravitas, I guess you could say, to it, which I think is kind of cool. But when they go out of their way to use a historically accurate character, well, okay, let me not, I don't want to say historically accurate. When they go out of their way to use a character that actually existed historically as your main protagonist, and they claim him to be this legendary samurai, you would think that they're trying to, in their mind, be historically accurate, at least to some degree. So who knows? There's also claims about whether this guy is actually a samurai. Yasuke, whatever. There's claims whether he's actually a samurai. And this drama has been building up for a while now. And it's been getting bigger and bigger. Japanese people started getting involved more and more. I think it even reached the level of the Japanese government. And now Assassin's Creed released this. Now, I'm not going to read through all of this. It's going to take too much time, obviously, for this video. But I will show each page, and you can pause and read it if you would like. It's a lot of words. They don't really say a whole bunch, other than please don't criticize our people. They talk about what they've done with their previous games. And then they get to this last page where they talk about Yasuke. So one thing I want to point out on this page is that they talk about Assassin's Creed games are works of fiction inspired by real historical events and figures. Okay, we know that's true. We've gone to Egypt, we've gone to Greece, you've had Aristotle, I believe it was. You've had historical figures that has existed at some point in time in these games. I don't believe they've had them as a main character, though, that you play. That, I think, is part of the problem. They say the representation of Yasuke in our game is an illustration of this. His unique and mysterious life made him an ideal candidate to tell an Assassin's Creed story with the setting of feudal Japan as a backdrop. No, so here's the thing. The only reason they chose Yasuke was for representation. You should really take a look at the people making this game. That'll tell you all you need to know. They didn't care whether Yasuke was a samurai. They didn't care whether Yasuke was Japanese or whatever. What they cared was that he was black. That's what they cared about. They chose him specifically for that feature. Like I said previously in the video, they found the one needle in the haystack they could use to check the box. That's why they chose him. Now it says, while Yasuke is depicted as a samurai in Assassin's Creed Shadows, we acknowledge that this is a matter of debate and discussion. But they're advertising him as this legendary real-world samurai in a lot of their promotional tweets and videos that they sent out. They were selling it as fact. And they so you have a book by, I think it's Thomas Lockley, I can't remember his name, but there was this guy who wrote this book and tried to sell Yasuke off as an actual black samurai. And then it was discovered that he stretched the truth or outright lied. And then on Wikipedia, he would have like a nom de plume, I guess you could call it, just a fake name that he would use to reference his own book that he wrote and try to insert his material into Wikipedia as fact. And it was a kind of a circle because they kind of all would reference each other, and articles would reference the book, Wikipedia would reference the book, and it ended up becoming fact, even though it was really fake. It was a pure genius way of doing misinformation. That's exactly what they do. That's how you propagate misinformation. It says, we have woven this carefully into our narrative, and with our other lead character, the Japanese shinobi Naoe, or however you pronounce that name, who is equally important in the game, our dual protagonists provide players with different gameplay styles. You can still have the different gameplay styles. Why would you not choose a Japanese samurai? That's what I don't understand. You could have the same story, the same unique and mysterious life that makes Yasuke an ideal candidate. You can get that with a Japanese samurai, someone who's ethnically a Japanese man or woman or whatever. I don't really care, but you could have got that using someone who was Japanese, or just created a Japanese person all on your own, like you did with your shinobi Naoe. Again, I'm probably butchering these names. So I mean, like I said, this drama has built up enough to where they put this out. Now, I don't think this is going to solve anything. Nobody has, it's not an apology. It's more of an explanation, to be honest with you. Let's take a look at a couple of responses here on Twitter. I love the quote of most Japanese don't care about this in the quote retweets, when just a few days ago, the Japanese government got involved in the whole situation. I've even seen store displays in Japan mocking the game, so don't lie to yourself about it being some boogeyman. They decided to make franchise history with a playable historical figure, yet clearly took information from sources that would only support the vision they had without any care for how their audience would view it. They know this game is forever marred in controversy, and now they're panicking. Maybe this is true here. Like I was saying, the Yasuke controversy has hit such a boiling point that the Assassin's Creed development team themselves have released a statement. So Scratchpoint over here on Twitter, or basically X, has stated, Ubisoft has released a statement to the Japanese community regarding the criticisms of Assassin's Creed Shadow. Of course, it proclaims that while taking place in various periods of history, Assassin's Creed has always clearly been a creative take on fiction, something nobody was truly contesting. However, in the case of Yasuke, that does not align with some of the previous statements and advertisements from Ubisoft, which refer to him as Japan's first black samurai and the first real historical person to be a playable character in Assassin's Creed. And that was the point I was trying to make earlier. Ubisoft was very clearly making it seem as though his samurai status was historical fact. The statement now acknowledges there is debate regarding the topic, but it's clear what their personal belief is. Whatever. They included a don't criticize our consultants or developers bit, despite the fact that much of the misinformation surrounding Yasuke is perpetuated by these very people. They apologized to Japanese players for concerns about the game and claim to be using constructive criticism to improve the final product, but ultimately fall back on taking creative liberties with the history. All of this simply could have been avoided by using Japanese main characters. Yes, there is one, but most of the promo material has been pushing Yasuke, which is true. I think she, the other character, was only put there as a shield to try to avoid some of this drama and claims that's being made now. The supposed reasoning behind the choice of Yasuke is that, like the player, he is discovering Japan for the first time. This obviously makes no sense in regards to Japanese players who would already be familiar. Anyone who has been paying attention to the decline in the Western game industry and media at large knows this is thinly veiled excuse to push diversity. Ubisoft themselves openly embraces this message. Again, like I said, they only chose Yasuke because he's black. It's a DI thing, you know, it's representation. You know, they have to have that checkbox checked. The fact that they felt compelled to make a statement at all shows how large the pushback has become, and rightfully so. They're now concerned about this impact in themselves. Ubisoft has overplayed their hand here, trusting frauds, peddling fiction as historical fact. Again, look at the book and the author. I mean, he's completely disappeared. He's went dark. This isn't about any respect for the so-called Japanese community, because if they had a modicum of respect, none of this would have happened in the first place. This statement is mostly damage control rather than anything of substance, as their main interest in selling as many copies of the game as possible. In the end, it's up to the audience to speak with their wallets and avoid it. He's right, this is nothing but a statement to, I guess, damage control. The pushback or the drama that's been built up around this has continued to gain momentum, and to the point where it's probably damaging their sales and their pre-orders. They had a call where I guess their investors were asking about that information, and they were not divulging any of that information whatsoever. Now they claimed it was epic, it was the best, it was huge, right? But they never gave any detailed information. I think they realize this is hurting them, and this is why they put out this information. Take it with a grain of salt. If you support the game or you like the game, hey, that's cool. I mean, I used to play Assassin's Creed. I played Valhalla, but honestly, the game has changed, and the way the game plays has changed ever since Black Flag. That's the first game I played, and it's not as fun or as interesting anymore. The world's too big. It's got too much crap going on. I lose focus on the main story of what's going on, and at that point I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm done. I've lost interest because I get so caught up in doing all these other things, I forget the main story, and then by that point I get bored with all these other things, and there's nothing to pull me back. I'm like, okay, I'll move on to something else. My wife didn't finish it either, so yeah, I didn't plan to buy this game for that reason, but as soon as I saw the trailer and saw what they were doing with the hip hop, with Yasuke, I'm like, look, no, I'm done. I'm done with these game companies that will push just DI for DI purposes. They're married to their ideology, and they don't make games for the players anymore. They make games to push their own message, and I will not support that at all. I will go and buy these Korean-based games or no games at all. I'll play the old games. Simple as that. Let me know what you think down in the comments. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later.